All right, welcome back to Alpine Garage Sports. My name is Chris and I'll be your host here in the garage, and we're talking about CU Buffs football today. Specifically the fact that 2023 season ticket pricing came out just a little bit ago, and there was a big surprise when it comes to the pricing. Now, before we go into the season pricing for this year, let's look at what's happened over the past with CU Buffs football. The relevant history would probably be 2019. 2019 was the last really full season before COVID came in and shortened the season, and that next year, and then really everything in the land went up, and pricing for tickets was the same as everything else. Cars went up, food went up, tickets for football went up. Obviously lots of pricing tiers, and we're going to go through that in a minute. We're just going to do the basic pricing tier. What does it cost to get into season tickets at CU? In 2019, it was $225. By any stretch is a great price. If you were to look at any other football team in the NCAA, even lower tier teams, those season tickets are usually much higher than $225. So the price of entry at Colorado for season tickets has always been incredibly low. And I wouldn't even say low is probably the word I would use. I'd probably say has always been a great value. Value to me is a lot more important than the actual price of something. You can pay nothing for a ticket and you can get nothing in return. If you pay a little bit more, the value goes up exponentially, then there you are. And so for the tickets for $225 in 2019, the value of that ticket was exponential. Now, from then we went through COVID and we jumped up to all the way to 2021. In 2022, it went up to $300 as a base ticket. So 2019, $225. 2022, last year, $300. That's a 33% increase in ticket price. Is that a lot? I would say that's probably a lot. Now, again, the value of that ticket is way higher than that. So do I think it's an expensive ticket? No, I don't think it's an expensive ticket. Do I think the ticket has a lot of value? It has the best value, I think, of any football program in the country, except for football programs that win every single home game. And there are a lot of those out there. It's where you win every single home game, the value goes up exponentially. So then now comes the question, what would you do if you were the AD and the president of the university and you got primetime in here? So you have now not only the hottest coach in the country from the standpoint of social media and the buzz going around and things like that. You have one of the best recruiting classes in the country, including the transfer portal. And you have a renewed interest in a football program that probably didn't have a lot of interest outside of us CU Buffs fans for about the last 25 to 30 years. So what would you raise that ticket price to? And while you're pondering that, keep in mind that if you are a CU Buffs fan or if you are a Prime fan and you're interested in CU football because Prime is here, everyone is welcome on this channel. We want as many eyes on CU football as possible. And because of that, we have many new series coming up that explains all the things about CU football that you would ever want to know, and Prime for that matter. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button and come and join our group. We have a fantastic group, so please subscribe today. I answer every single comment that's put in the comment box. I love good detailed comments. Bring all your questions, and thank you for subscribing to our channel. Now, 2023, I would have expected this year for season tickets to jump up at least another maybe 5 or 10% because I think it's due, honestly. But guess what, guys? They didn't go up. The ticket prices didn't go up for season tickets this year. Is that incredible or what? Now, there is a little bit of a difference in price if you weren't a season ticket holder last year. So let's pull up the screen right now and let's look at 2022 versus 2023. So if you notice, we have a beautiful overlay of Colorado Stadium here. And you'll notice that if you're looking at the screen, the lower part of the screen is the east end of the stadium. So that end of the stadium is the most beautiful to watch football games because not only can you see the stadium, but you can also see the Flatirons and the Rockies and sometimes even the Continental Divide in the background as well. And at a sunset game, an evening game, man, you can't get a better view. It is the most awesome. You almost forget there's a football game going on. And sometimes you do if the football game is not all that good. But this year, that's not going to happen. Now, on the other side of the stadium, on the west end, which is going to be at the top of your screen, those are also good seats. Now, one of the things you have to remember about CU football is that we don't have a track going around our stadium. So the stadium was actually built closer to the field when they took the stadium out a very long time ago. And now, without there being a giant upper tier, which you see on many other stadiums on the sidelines, you get a really close view. So it's almost like you're sitting right on the sideline. So it doesn't matter where you sit in this stadium, you're going to have good seats. Let me start out by saying that. Let me say that again. It doesn't matter where you sit in this stadium, you're going to have good seats. But let's look at the pricing. So let's start at the lowest end, which is the Zone 5 end. And you're looking at $300 in 2022. And $400 for the next set. Then it goes to $500, then to $725, then to $850. Now those are standard seats. So $850 being the highest, $300 being the lowest. Now let's switch over to 2023. Look at this, same exact pricing, $300 to $850 for that. It's perfect. No increase in pricing for Coach Prime coming to town. How does that happen? Now, if you look over in the next column, it says new ticket pricing. So if you weren't already a season ticket holder with the University of Colorado, there is going to be a 5% increase for you to get involved with this program now. Now, is that a lot? Is that absorbent? You know, I don't think so. So look at that. So your base price is $300 for folks who had season tickets before. And if you didn't have season tickets before, it's $315. So $15 for Coach Prime. Are you kidding me? Yeah, man, I'd pay 4 times that amount. Now that you're coming for Coach Prime and it's going to be that much more exciting, I think that much more of an increase is warranted. In fact, I think probably more of an increase is warranted. But let's go through the rest of the pricing. So then you get to $420 versus $400, $525 versus $500, and $760 versus $725, $895 versus $850. Now, all of those are roughly a 5% increase in pricing. Now, here is the fun part. If you want to be a part of one of the clubs, and one of the reasons why University of Colorado Stadium isn't, as big as some other stadiums in the land is because we have a lot of clubs. So we have a lot of places for people to hang out and kind of enjoy each other. CU culture kind of lends itself to this. And with those clubs, none of the club pricing went up. So if you're going to be a member of that club, even a new member of that club pricing didn't change. That is like, I can't even believe that. I would imagine that the club pricing probably would have gone up by even more than the actual ticket pricing did, but it did not. Now, next year may be a different story. If we win a Pac-12 championship or have a really good season, the season tickets may go up. And honestly, they should, because everything goes up. That's just the way things are. You just kind of have to roll with the punches. And if you love CU, if you love watching Coach Prime, if you love watching the players, if you love the culture of CU, it's a small price to pay to be involved in the program. And keep in mind that a lot of this ticket prices goes to funding the athletic programs at CU. Now, by comparison, let's take a look at some other schools. I picked the University of Utah, and here's the reason why. University of Utah is in the Pac-12, so it's in the same conference. And they've won the conference championship 2 years in a row. So if anybody is going to have an excuse to jack up their prices, it is the University of Utah. And looking at it, well, they have. And so here you go. So Utah, base price $465 for a season ticket. At the 50-yard line, it's $1,890 for season tickets. By comparison, CU is $300 for cheap seats for a season ticket, and $895, which is the highest price that someone who has never held a season ticket before, on the 50-yard line at Folsom Field. The low-end price is higher at Utah. The high-end price is way higher. Now, keep in mind that Utah has one more home game than we do. So let's dilute that down and just say that the tickets are about the same price. That still puts Utah at a higher price per game. But let's just say that they're similar on the low end. On the high end, they're just astronomically different. I went to Utah's page, and they actually even said on there something to the tune of, for this price, you get to see the Pac-12 champion Utah Utes playing football at Cam Rising, and they said a lot about Cam Rising. So here's my question. If you were going to pick the cheap seat, the low-end seat, and you were going to pay $465 to see Cam Rising or $300 to see Shedeur Sanders, which one would you pick? Man, that's an easy choice as far as I'm concerned. I'm picking Shedeur Sanders every time. I'm picking CU every day, as we do here on this channel. And you should too. Now, what I want you guys to do is put your comments down below. Was not raising the season ticket prices a bad move on CU's part? Now, keep in mind, I want you guys to take the emotion out of this and insert the business, okay? Because at the end of the day, this is a business, okay? It's about running a university. It's about building an athletics and an academic program at this school. And we have leverage now that we haven't had in a long time. I'm going to say we have leverage now that we have never had. A different kind of leverage. So is not raising the prices, is that something that you would do if you were in charge of the business at CU, or would you have raised them a little bit more? So I want to say to the AD Rick George and the CU president Todd Saliman, thank you very much for not raising season ticket pricing. It was an easy thing to have done if you wanted to do it, but you didn't do it. And we appreciate that very much. And it shows a lot of the character of CU and kind of the culture that we have going here, because we are going to be good and it is going to be off the hook. That is a wrap from Alpine Garage Sports. Thanks for hanging out with me in the garage today. If you haven't already subscribed, do so today. We have a lot more coming out, and if you haven't heard, we coming.